The IPL auction dates have been announced. November 24th and 25th is when the Indian Premier League's auction is set to take place, and in Saudi Arabia in the city of Jeddah. BCCI seems to have shifted the venue though in the very last minute from Riyadh to Jeddah in fact. Either ways, this is a massive boost for Saudi and sports considering the inroads they are already making in the world of sports. Now with the Indian Premier League auction 2 set to take place there, they surely have added another feather to their cap. Before we get into more details regarding Saudi growing as a sporting magnet, let's get some of the details of the IPL auction out of the way. Getting you some numbers first. 10 teams will get into a bidding war as the stage is set for the biggest auction to take place. 1,574 players will go under the hammer. This will include 320 capped, 1,224 uncapped players, 409 overseas and 30 players from associate nations. Total purse limit for each franchise is set at $14.24 million. 25 slots is what each squad will aim to have, and that means 204 positions remain. Those 204 players remain to be filled across all the teams at the auction table at the end of this month. Many big players are going to be seen in the pool after a while, and with a few teams wanting to completely rebuild their squads from scratch, especially a captain. That will be important and trust to have a massive bidding war when it comes to this particular role. There's one interesting addition to this list, and that's a cricketer from Italy. Thomas Jack Draper is going to be in that auction pool, so excitement is clearly sky high. But the biggest point that I want to draw your attention to is the venue. Jeddah in Saudi making its first imprints in the world of cricket. Yeah, among those pictures, you saw one snapshot of that arena. Apparently, that's just 10 minutes away from the hotel where all the teams will be. One of the reasons why the shift happened. But Saudi has been trying to sink its teeth into every sporting discipline. Name a popular global sport, and Saudi would have a say or a part to play in it. It's part of their larger plan, which is Vision 2030, to diversify their investments and get into sports in a major way. Because sports means tourism, revenue, and boosting the image of a country globally. Saudi's plan in that regard has been clear for a while. The main reason for branching out, particularly in sports, is because of what they incurred in 2022. Saudi Arabia fell short of their foreign direct investments target for the year. They only managed $33 billion, still a big amount, targeting $100 billion. They fell short. Sports, tourism, and entertainment then were decided as the crucial sectors in achieving this goal and bridging that gap. They realized that despite building world-class venues and facilities, the revenue was not matching up. Hence the push to get in more global sporting icons and organizations to build ties with Saudi and get to promote sports in a big way in the country. And it's not just football, Formula One and tennis that they have a strong hold in now. Many other sporting disciplines like golf and esports, which has a massive fan following, have also entered the fray. Saudi has successfully managed to disrupt the world order when it comes to certain global sporting disciplines like what I've mentioned. They are attracting some of the biggest faces and stars to vouch for their place, their cities, as the new sporting power center. And cricket, a sport they have had their eyes on for a long while, seems to be taking its first steps in Saudi. The relationship between Saudi and the Indian Premier League actually started off with the Saudi tourism and Saudi oil company Aramco coming on board as sponsors earlier, in fact last year, and this now seems to be the next step. Coming to the city itself, BCCI of course oscillated between Riyadh and Jeddah and settled on the latter based on logistical reasons, with the venue, as I mentioned earlier, of the auction being just 10 minutes away from the hotel where all stakeholders, which is the 10 teams and the 2 broadcasters, will be staying at. In fact, sources say the relationship between Saudi and cricket is only set to grow. This, in fact, is the first real block towards that, with steps being made towards the formulation of a cricket league in the country. Saudi clearly signaling its intent of wanting a piece of every pie when especially it comes to the sporting world. If they could pull in mega stars across various disciplines, won't be too long before the same happens in cricket too. The question is, how keen will BCCI be of this new player in the sporting spectrum?
But it's a completely different story on the betting market.
Elon Musk, the tech visionary who is backing Donald Trump.
In New York, the Dow Jones and Nasdaq dropped over 3%.
Joining Putin in flexing muscle is his dear friend Xi Jinping.
The U.S. law calls for a presidential poll to be held on the Tuesday.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
I like that.